I'm familiar with some of the players. Me and Kadril, their mid laner, used to be on the same team before. In Giant's second team, I don't know, we're good friends, and I wouldn't say if I know how he works, but I don't think it will help too much, but I know some of his ways, you know, but it'll be fun to face his team.
Fun to face his team if you're a Giants member, because they are currently 1-0 up over the Copenhagen Wolves in what was a very commanding start. Talking about Kadril, friends of Hustlin, what did you expect? What did you think of his performance on Quinn?
The Quinn, so what we've seen typically in Challenger, at least on Quinn, is that Quinn tends to dominate the mid lane matchup against Corki, and then, you know, ultimately you can siege better with Corki. Quinn has different areas. Problem is, this time, Wisdom was like, I don't care about your 1v1. I'm coming mid lane. So not only were there, you know, factors to take in, the Quinn and the build with teleport as well. I know Perks and Iker are on Twitter going like, Quinn mid with TP and building Cull? What is this?
Yeah.
So there were some issues, but we'll see if those issues get straightened out from Game 1 to Game 2. Game 2, already one different ban here with a Nidalee coming out from Giants.
Don't want to allow Ku to lock that in as a first pick, knowing that Ku can play Nidalee. Lulu again, Giants 14 out of 20 games have banned Lulu. That is a big signal, if ever there was one, that they don't want to play that champion. And for the Copenhagen Wolves, it is the same 3 bans.
So, is this going to be a first pick? Sure, it will be first pick Lee for Ku here. Elise will be up as well. Depends whether Giants want to ban that one away as the last ban. TF probably going to be the last ban. That leaves Lissandra or TF available for the Copenhagen Wolves to blind pick at some point for Kadril. There's a lot open here. Elise still up now if Wisdom wants it.
All right, so Elise is available. Lissandra, unless the Giants decide to steal that one away. Poppy first pick. Now, Poppy wasn't the problem, I feel, in the last game. You know, I think the game fell apart from the middle. Peppy got ahead, and then Giants just read the Copenhagen Wolves very well. I want to see if Wolves going to swap that around.
Okay.
Already got that counter matchup. The Trundle to Kalista. This time it is Kalista for Sunstar. He's only played it once before. And it will mean Pinoy will have to play something different. But the Lucian's up, so you can expect that to go his way if they want to.
So, will we see the Lee-Elise trade here, or will we see Wisdom pick up something else if the Elise goes away from him? Wisdom's played junglers the likes of Sejuani as well here.
Hey, it's been buffed.
She has been buffed. Of course, we'll get that extra damage from Permafrost. So, you know, it's been buffed. It was a loss in the first game, I believe it was, of week 9.
Yep.
So, you know, it wasn't the most convincing, but still is something that's in his playbook. Highly different to Nidalee, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't get 2 champions much further apart. You want early game, don't pick Sejuani.
No, definitely not the case. So, a slightly slower tempo. You contrast game 1, where both of these teams were insta-locking champions. This time around, slowing it down. So, Siva and Elise, a change-up for the Copenhagen Wolves.
So, this is an interesting one. That a lot of the time over in Korea on this patch, we've seen high priority on Kindred. So that is one jungler we didn't really factor in here. In fact, it was first picked earlier today in the SKT series. So, I mean, a lot of regions have different priority on Kindred coming out of the jungle. Needless to say, Kindred, Kalista is a fair amount of damage coming out in these skirmishes. Once you start getting the first few towers down, you start opening the map up, you find people with them, and they tend to just fall away.
But Braum is still open, and that can block almost everything that Kalista Kindred can put down. Hustlin's going to opt into another game of Alistar. I think he had a good performance in that previous game. I felt he found multi-man knockups several times.
I feel like he had a decent game, better than his games in the LCS, for certain. But I think a lot of that was kind of the momentum of his team being ahead. It's fairly easy to you know, look good on a champion like Alistar with that damage reduction when the enemy team is so far behind they don't have the damage to output on you. I think it's fair though that he got a couple of good knockups, but yeah.
I think I have no argument against that case. I would like to raise another point, Stress.
Okay.
That for the time being, Giants have no magic damage. It is again a very heavy physical comp thus far. They can change that with their last pick. The Lissandra, this is no surprise for Kadril. He has an ability to find 3, 4, 5-man Ring of Frosts, like I feel very few Lissandra players can do. Now, this is in Challenger.
Yeah.
We need to see if he can do this against Giants. But he did it in the finals, and the final ban for Nukeslot not going to be the Braum. Instead, going to go for the fight reset in Janna.
Okay, and Corki, there's the magic damage to round it out. We just saw a good game coming from Corki from Peppy. Looked very solid with Wisdom, obviously helping him out there. Probably won't have the same kind of impact on at least on that kind of setup that Wisdom had from the Nidalee with this Kindred. We'll have to watch the early game and see how his Kindred play goes. So this mid lane matchup, you mentioned Kadril. He's going to look for some engages, but it doesn't quite fit with everything else that the Wolves have. Yes, you've got the Poppy, that'll give you one side lane, Lissandra gives the other, you got Pick with Elise, but then you look at this Sivir, Janna. Sivir, Lissandra very good at running at people, Janna not so much. Kind of doesn't fit in my mind with the rest of the comp, but will obviously provide disengage should Giants be looking to engage, and with Kalista and Alistair, I mean,
there's
a whole lot of
looking to engage. That is beyond a shadow of a doubt. We'll find out how this Janna pick works out for Sir Nukesalot. He has played it twice before, a win and a loss under his belt, some competitive experience. 2 coaches on stage just shaking hands, Lozak and then I believe Mosi Ting, if memory serves correctly. And we'll see who's going to bounce back. Giants this time around on the red side. They've got another sort of damage-heavy team composition. And I want to see if either of these teams opt into a lane swap, because we did not see it in the previous matchup.
I'd be interested to see that as well. Mainly because Copenhagen Wolves have had a couple of issues with their lane swaps in general. So, I mean, it's all on the line, though. We're only in game 2. There's still time to adjust. Let us know what you think on Twitter as well. Hashtag CWin, hashtag GIA win. Let us know. We'll hopefully update during the game. See if it's swayed. There was a lot of Giants fans in the last one.
There certainly was. And, of course, picking up that first game in a series, we can expect some more of those votes to go that way. Copenhagen Wolves got reverse swept by Huma in the Challenger Series finals in spring. Will Giants be able to close this one? I hope I got that flag right. In just 3, we're about to find out as we load up onto the Rift for game 2 here of Giants versus the Copenhagen Wolves. The loser is eliminated from the promotion tournament, and the winner merely advances to the next stage. Corky's doing a barrel roll, getting himself ready.
I've been killing your kind.
Well, we found the new Korean, Lissandra. Although at least this is emote spam.
I'm actually flawed. I didn't know Kadril and Lissandra could freestyle.
No, neither. Different sounds there as well. Wow, that's
Thank you, observers,
impressive.
for moving us away for that one. Right, no shenanigans yet.
Minions have
although it looks like a lane swap is being either initiated or predicted. You know, I don't have context from the Copenhagen
You don't
Wolves.
have context?
No, I mean, because you don't know. You don't know if the call is, hey, we think they're going to swap, so let's go top.
That's fair.
Or you don't know if they've gone, we want to swap.
It's interesting. I'd love to get the analyst's take on this afterwards, because typically when you see double ranged into Alistair, that tends to be okay. I would like to hear their breakdown on this and see exactly which team they think is better off on that one. But honestly, with the lane swap, we've seen Copenhagen Wolves mess this up a good few times. And that sounds like I'm being quite derogatory to them, but we've had it to a point where Copenhagen Wolves have been like 3 levels up on their top laner, and then one of them's TP'd into a side lane, died, giving the AD carry a kill and 20 extra farm, and suddenly the other team's in the lead and turn the game around. Like, it's happened before. We'll see if they can do this one any cleaner. So
The ability to build tempo is there, but maintaining it could be problematic.
Exactly. It's like, generally, teams in Europe are pretty decent at the first phase of a lane swap. The top teams, good at the second phase as well. But that's where everybody else starts kind of falling off. It's what you do after the first turret is down. Everybody kind of knows how to react to the first one. So we'll see exactly how this one goes. Although you can see Pinoy and Nukes pushing it in. Not the fastest, but they've got a few more of their own minions there than Sunstar and Hustlin.
Well, I want to keep my eyes on the CS in that mid lane, because we talked a lot about Kadril's Quinn. And both Kadril and Pepe are 2 mid laners who actually came into this matchup as guys who were down in CSD at 10 minutes, you know? Slightly varying amounts, but Pepe had actually built up a 15 CS advantage over Kadril thanks to jungle interference and a positive matchup.
Speaking of jungle interference.
And now Pepe's the man that's in trouble. Cocoon catches, that was a near instantaneous cleanse.
Yeah.
And Pepe gets away, but Summoner Spell successfully used by Ku.
Defers the gank for now. I mean, Pepe now, if this is a repeat gank coming out from Ku, should be forced to flash next time. So it's kind of a repeat process, rinse and repeat, and see what ends up happening. Bottom tower's going to go down. It's a little bit slower, but you can see exactly how top tower's gone. They've shoved
Pushed
it
all
into
the way
the second one. And now actually recall coming out from Wicked.
All right, so let's
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, Wicked's staying.
The rest
me
of
on
the
map for a
wolves.
sec. Pinoy is recalling out. I was going to say, if Wicked was recalling, that would have been bad.
All right, so Sminny's stuck around in lane. Hustler and Sunstar have already caught the wave.
But Wicked actually isn't getting anything from this anyway.
No.
Like, normally at this point, you would have had it rebound and you'd be able to catch the wave on the other side. So Giants managed to force Wicked away from the minion wave. Look at Trundle on the other side. Smitty J has collected the wave in the bottom. He will have to back away because Sivir and Janna are about to appear. It's not the biggest amount of kill pressure, but you can never really risk that the jungler isn't there. So it's just a courtesy more than anything, backing away. But again, this kind of is going to help Smitty J stay healthy against Wicked.
Yeah, especially going to have additional experience, I think, over his opposite number. Wicked is going to clear out the Gromp, if I'm reading that correctly. Did just back away, walk through his own jungle, and teleport's available for both Wicked and Smitty. So we'll see where they decide to go. A couple of pings, bottom outer turret. So we're in the pretty standard lane swap. Outer turrets have fallen already. Peppy at 5 minutes has already got nearly a 10 CS advantage over Cadril. This is something that he's not been able to do on average throughout the games, but I want to see if he can keep it up, because there is a wave being pushed into Cadril's hands.
I think, though, Peppy is, I think, frustrating as it is for Giants fans to kind of have had to watch this split. Peppy's not shown us the same kind of presence that he showed, last year. Because last year you'd look at Spring Split, Summer Split and think, well, Peppy slips in somewhere in the middle. He's shown us performances that are maybe up towards the top end of mid lane on occasion.
Yeah.
But
4th through 6th.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, this split, he just has looked like 8th through 10th.
Yeah.
Game after game.
And I also think that's where this Corki pick comes very good. It becomes very valuable. It's a slightly easier pick to play. It has strong matchups, especially in the early game. Allows you to get some bullying, allows you to get some advantage, and Peppy's making use of that. Rift Herald picked up, I think that was collected by Sunstar, if I read that correctly. And I want to see if they're going to use the buff to push down the next inner turret. It's something that we're seeing some of the more practiced teams perform when they're in the LCS.
Well, Cadril just uses TP, so it means any defensive play on the turret now, they can't utilize that for. One of the reasons was Peppy was shoving a fairly sizable wave into Cadril. Now, if Sansa had come down for that and there would be no TP response, that potentially could have been a mid lane tower falling very quickly. But it wasn't, in the end of all things. Giants, they're going to back themselves away. So we are in for a bit of a slow one here with this lane swap.
Yeah, and really interesting. Sunstar's invested money into swiftness boots already, with a cull and a longsword. So really committed to just farming out this next sort of 10 minutes of gameplay before looking for a bigger engage. Peppy has returned to lane. He's got himself that Sheen, makings of a Phage. And Wisdom looks like he's going towards Devourer. I want to keep track of how quickly Wisdom can stack that up. Because, of course, on this particular patch, the Devourer stacks are reduced on the Rift Scuttler.
Yes, but also at the same time, Wisdom is like, well, I haven't had to do anything at the beginning of this game, so I'm just going to look at taking objectives. And Rift Scuttler, Smitty J realizes, well, there's probably not going to be a play in the next couple of minutes, so I'm going to use TP to go top, collect that wave. Didn't want to lose out on it, but now obviously is, again, a summoner that isn't available. This is good for the Devourer stacking. That early presence on Dragon. Normally we'd say in a lane swap, that taking Dragon slows the tempo, but at this point, you look at the map state, Trundle is accepting top lane and getting further ahead, bottom lane was shoved out, mid lane was getting cleared, no real other objectives on the map. You take it, gives Wisdom stacks, gives you the buff. Rift Herald was already gone in their favor as well.
I also like it, because I think for Giants to pick up a 7-minute Dragon, if they pick up the 13-minute Dragon and then get that damage over time on the towers, it just gives Giants this extra edge when it comes to pushing the side lanes, when they've got a Trundle who we know eventually will begin beating a Poppy. So it's just like access to another tactic in closing the game out.
Yep, another little thing to add to
another condition that allows you to win.
Yes,
if you're a member of Giants.
Yes.
Is that too far? Okay, I can tell by your disapproving nod. That was too far. Right, was that a blue buff stolen away? Copenhagen Wolves have got control of the bottom half of the map. Put the priority in the middle lane. Dash towards Peppy. Peppy cannot dash away.
Cleanses up.
FLICKR, or the Tomb rather. Instantaneous cleanse. The Cocoon once again does not connect, but a flash away from the boomerang.
What is this in the middle lane? Scott Pilgrim? There's like 4 people coming out of all angles trying to take him down right now. Peppy's just like, no, no, back away. But they get both of his summoners from it though. Wolves want to push it though. They got Sivir, they got Lissandra, should be able to push this one in. Wicked's going top lane to deal with it. The reply could be from the Giants, could actually group on this. Peppy couldn't stay mid.
Yeah, they certainly could. There is pressure elsewhere though. Ku finally connects the Cocoon onto Wisdom. Dashes in with the Venomous Bite. And remember, Peppy was dashing away from the evil ex-jungler of Ku. Got all the summoners blown before now Giants have got themselves grouped up. So they may turn this one around. Where is the wave clear for Copenhagen Wolves? Sivir is nearby.
Lissandra recall, no TP.
Pinoy should be able to do this.
Should be. Yeah, he should.
A lot of damage from those ricochets. And in actual fact, Giants never really committed for the pressure anyway.
Yeah. Commitment's a tough thing to give, Trevor.
Oh yes, it is. No, it really is. You don't want to get burned or broken.
I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, nor do I.
I really have no idea. Speaking of burned, this is quite a painful, horrible death to watch for the minions of
I
Valkyrie.
actually don't think we highlight package minion farming as much as we should.
It's just because it's going to expire. That's like legitimately it.
I don't know why.
Do we need to mention that every time?
I just like seeing it.
I tell you what, we'll put that in the category of Trinity Force Power Spike on Corki. Minion farming with Valkyrie. There's a lot of these like very standard things. They fit into 140 characters. You can, analyze very efficiently with it.
I like that. As 10 minutes was crested, Peppy maintains a plus 15 CSD at the 10-minute mark. So,
the stats, man.
Early game, despite being ganked twice, he manages to maintain a CS advantage over Kadril. So this is, again, just giving some credence to the narrative that we've come to expect. Kadril is not a laning mid laner. He brings value by roaming or by playing team fights in the mid game exceptionally well. Which also means there is a risk, right? If he doesn't play those team fights well because Giants are dictating when and where they happen, all of a sudden, all of the strengths of Kadril are nullified.
Yeah, this is a fairly forgiving champion and build to go with it, though. The Lissandra typically is very able to get into fights and land multi-people stuns. With the Rod of Ages as well, it's like, well, okay, I went in, took some damage, but I can ult myself. I've got a lot of tankiness anyway alongside it, so Kadril should be okay in this game. The question is, can he get onto people? Maybe destroy Wisdom's health bar before Wisdom can ult. He's also going to deal with like an Alistair.
Going to be a challenge. Copenhagen Wolves are looking to deal pressure in multiple lanes. Outer turret in the middle is secured. Wicked is the sacrificial lamb. First blood to Smitty J as the Wolves just overstayed their welcome.
Stepped a little too close to the fire, and knowing that they were getting mid-tower, they stayed close enough that the flash Q, or Q flash from Hustlin, was able to knock him down, put him back into the tower and take him out. So Wicked, a little bit over-aggressive in that situation. Tower did go in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves in the middle lane in exchange, so it is still worth for the Wolves.
Still net gain, especially when you look at the fact that Pinoy's been wave clearing, so he's got a 15 CS advantage over Sunstar. That is nullified by Kadril's disadvantage. And then Smitty J with first blood and a 30 CS advantage. He's around 800 gold up. And Titanic Hydra has just been completed as well. So Jay's looking comfortable to do basically more of the same. 2 games in a row now. It's like farm the side lane, and when we need you, we will call you with the the Trundle light in the sky. Hey, well, TP here, bro.
We'll have to see, though, how that works out for Smitty J, because with that Titanic Hydra, he's got a lot to navigate through. Not only has he got a Pillar of Ice, but there's Lissandra on the other side, so...
well, I hope he doesn't sink for Giants' chances. That's... I can't believe we've never made that connection, actually.
Neither can I.
The number of times we've seen that.
The problem is I've run out of Titanic jokes now.
Are you the king of the world?
Oh, Trevor, I'll always love you.
All right, down in the now top lane, we have the duos meeting head-to-head. Really, for I feel, the first extended exchange, as Sunstar and Huston have to fend off the ever-pushing Sivajana. Dragon number 2 has been secured down bottom by Giants. Nearly on spawn, but there's a tower dive up top. This tower's going to drop. Fate's Call comes out. Sunstar decides to re-engage as a teleport from Smitty J arrives. But the inner turret drops, as does Sunstar. Smitty J's caught by a Cocoon, as well as Smitty J continuing to run away. Coo and Cocoon, there's too many words like the same. As Giants lose their first death of the game.
Yeah, that is, again, a tower and a kill picked up for the Copenhagen Wolves. At this point, they traded it for the Dragon. Wisdom was the one that picked up that. He was soloing it. Oh, Wisdom now wants K-Roll.
That's a lot of damage from Mounting Dread and the Dance of Arrows. Huston's got no access to the Unbreakable Will, and luckily for Giants, they don't overcommit, but they're down 1,500 gold.
Yeah, let's take another look at this replay. This was Hustlin going in on Pinoy. The thing is, the tower is already falling at this point. It's already a done deal. TP, did it actually complete here? Yes, barely completed for this fight. K-Roll once again ults himself, says, draw me like one of your French girls, and Smitty J has to run away at this point. Again, it's just a very clean tower take for Copenhagen Wolves. They take a kill from it. I mean, last time, okay, they lost Wicked. This time was a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. And Copenhagen Wolves did some very proactive plays. They were pushing 2 lanes about 5 minutes ago. Tower dove in the top, and it's allowed Copenhagen Wolves to take 4 towers to 2. The only risk is they're going to have to commit to a team fight around Dragon at some point, because Giants are on track for a 3rd one in around 3 minutes' time.
The thing is, Copenhagen Wolves have turned this game around when it comes to the gold lead with these tower pushes. Not only that, Civ has been the one taking a lot of the farm here, and it means Pinoy has a fairly significant CS gap over Sunstar. It is evened out by Heavy having that over K-Roll from how K-Roll has had to participate in all of this. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts on who's having the gold lead from this. It is kind of hamstringing Sunstar. He hasn't got a first item completed yet. Still low swiftness boots when you look at it on the other side. Static shift nearly complete for Pinoy alongside that Essence Reaver. Big difference.
It is, and it does sort of signal that, ooh, that was a decent prediction actually. I think if Pepe doesn't have the package, would have been caught by the Cocoon. The difference in itemization and who has the farm advantage, I think could then impact the big team fights. If Pinoy is able to have a bigger impact than Pepe, all of a sudden, Copenhagen Wolves can win and engage. Right, Rift Herald, this is the 3rd of the game, and it will go to Copenhagen Wolves unchallenged. And it was Ku that picked up the previous one. He will do the same. And we're actually seeing European teams just pick up the Rift Herald primarily for the gold, I feel. Because we don't see a lot of teams use it for the pushing power, because of course it doesn't increase the survivability of your minions.
So the thing about Rift Herald is like it's the buff or objective that you just take because it's there and there's nothing else to do that's easy right then and there. Like, it gives you a little bit of a boost. It gives you the gold, as you were saying, and if you do get 3 of them early on, I think that's the 2nd one for Wolves. If you get a couple early on, it does add to your gold lead. Of course, it's 250 for picking that up. So,
for the team.
Yeah, for the team, yeah. Not each. That would be crazy. Yeah, no, thank you for the correction. Somebody out there is going to be like...
Addition. For the addition. Right, is that a Sated Devourer? It is at about 17 and a half minutes.
Yep.
Very nicely done. Big team fight will break out. Wicked has dashed forward. Keeper's verdict goes out, but truthfully, Wicked opted into that and then comes off going, I've done an oopsie. Giants pick up their 2nd kill of the fight, turn their attention to the mid tower.
And now with 3 marksmen here in this middle lane, they should be able to push that if the wave isn't there, but they've got a Sivir on the other side, they've got a Lissandra they've got to go up against, so the wave clear is actually really strong from Copenhagen Wolves. I don't think you can get too much better now that Victor has been...
Yeah. And the risk, of course, if you sit in front of that tower, just get knocked up by a Howling Gale, and all of a sudden, engage potential is there. So here's a replay of the fight. Wolves thought they caught Hustling.
Yeah, again, it's Wicked going in a little too aggressive here. I think they had vision off at the side as well. Wolves are actually responding to this by a push of their own. Wicked's not with him, he does have teleport available, but look at it, with the amount of wave clear they have, they take the wave completely away from Giants, push up and already deal 3/4 of the turret's health.
This is just a swing in tempo. Game 1, Giants looked to be in complete control of nearly every decision, playing everywhere on the map. But for the last 10 minutes, it's Copenhagen Wolves. They've been the aggressor. They've been the ones that have, you know, pushed under the tower, pushed in the mid tower, played around the map, and are in the lead, albeit not by a very large amount, but it is still 1,000 gold. It is still 2 towers more. And they're sitting pretty.
You can tell the difference, though, between... Well, Wolves only have a slight lead, so they can't really go balls to the walls into the Giants' jungle. But the wards that they have established are very narrow, tight on the mid lane. They're not spread out through the jungle deep. They are fairly deep, but just really hugging the entrances to mid. And it's not buying them enough time to go so far in that they can just cross between lanes very quickly. They've still got to get bottom out to tower. They've still got to get mid out to tower. So right now for Wolves, they are kind of just buying time. If they can get this dragon and take it away from the Giants, that actually puts a halt to the condition of victory that you were talking about earlier, Trev. So that would be a nice addition to the timer.
You know what I just noticed?
What did you just notice?
There's actually a spectator bug. Giants have got 3 towers. On the minimap, they're not there, but it doesn't say it. So that's an interesting one. As Giants are going to start off their 3rd dragon of the game. Almost on point. Nobody from Copenhagen Wolves is here to challenge though, so Giants are... Yeah, go down to the bottom tower. It's not there.
Red team has slain the dragon.
2.
I mean, they got top.
I'm
outer.
I'm
They got bottom outer.
I'm absolutely daft. You can ignore me. You
I was
can
going to
ignore
say
me.
they...
Yep. No, I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
It's okay.
Yep. I didn't actually see the top one was taken because I'm dumb. So, what happened there in that little moment, Stress, was that the inner turret was taken by Copenhagen Wolves in exchange for Dragon. That is the 5th tower that the Copenhagen Wolves have managed to pick up. 5-2. And we are getting set on the hunt, thrown down by the Copenhagen Wolves. Pepe's got Flash, he's got Cleanse. Teleport has been channeled by Wicked. The cooldown gets caught onto Wisdom. Huston's trying to buy time. Unbreakable will not keep him alive for long enough. 5 members of the Wolves are chasing the Giants down. They get themselves a kill. They invest a Flash and a Teleport. What more can the Wolves take?
Well, the Wolves are probably just going to take bottom out to tower right now. They're pushing up with the Sivir. I wonder if it was worth hustling, actually, you know, getting the knockup there to stop them. Really would like to see that one again, but this bottom lane tower, Smitty J trying to save it.
Smitty J's in so much trouble, forced to flash away. Lamb's Respite to buy time will give a heal to the members of Giants, but they're still retreating and they're still running. Claw of Doom comes out from Cajal. He gets chunked down. The Wolves Frenzy chunks him out as Cajal forced to flash away defensively. The tower falls, nobody else dies.
This is much better out of the Copenhagen Wolves. They're playing the style that they like to with Cadril on this champion that has big impact in team fights without having to really do too much else. It's just wave clear, then fight, wave clear, then fight. The same with Wicked. He's able to play this Poppy. We know it's comfortable on him, so this was the tail end of the fight. Smitty J trying to defend, does have that Kindred ultimate to keep himself alive, but the Copenhagen Wolves know at this point, as soon as that expires, it's their time to go in again. Wisdom is low, Smitty J is low, Sunstar's low. The problem is Cadril goes in a little too far forward on his own, so they can't convert it into kills. They're just going to be content with the tower and back themselves away. It's still a good lead for him.
Another very good cleanse flash, though, from Pepe. Keep himself alive. I didn't see if the pin against the wall was going to connect from Wicked, but the threat of it alone forced Giants away. And Giants are now 2,000 gold down. All of their outer turrets have dropped. And Giants are starting to look like they're in a little bit of trouble.
And you know, we were looking at the comp for Copenhagen Wolves coming out of Champion Select when it's the Sivir and the Janna, and typically that doesn't scream like engage from their abilities. Oh, Wisdom's caught.
Yeah, Wisdom is caught. Pepe's delivered by the package, and Wisdom doesn't have access to the respite. Copenhagen Wolves, they've grouped up and they've run down the Giants.
But what it does offer is the ability for Janna to go Talisman of Ascension in this setup. With Pinoy having the On the Hunt ultimate as well, you can just run at people. And as soon as you get that burst of momentum, if you're ahead, Cadril gets himself in, hits 2 or 3 people, Wicked dives in. That's pretty much the fight over because you kill somebody before they can ever really react. So the Copenhagen Wolves have really shown their aggression in this game. It's only 3 kills to 2 in total. There's been a lot of fighting, a lot of people dropping low and then towers being taken after it.
So clever pressure then from the Wolves. Now the toughest task. Can they play the vision game safely and smartly enough to then go for a Baron? Or alternatively, are they going to go for the tower dives that we've seen them perform against the inner turret? Wicked is going to wind up the Verdict. And Giants actually don't commit, so clever by Wicked not to fire it out.
Yep.
It's a portion of that cooldown back and will live to defend the tower another day.
Yeah, it's just the deterrent, right? It's the same if the Poppy ult hits you than if you just charge it up. Because
it's a zoning tool.
People away. Yeah, Wisdom
is in trouble. Lamb's Respite is available. Cocoon has found him. Dance of arrows away. No flash for Wisdom, but it's Peppy that goes down. Pinoy gets multiple crits there and drops him. Wisdom, another Dance of arrows in retreat. Lamb's Respite still available, but it's Peppy the only victim so far. Hustlin decides to engage to try and save his top laner. Smitty J unable to get away. Copenhagen Wolves string together 2 kills, and Giants have to defend an inhibitor turret with only 3.
And honestly, Wisdom in this game has been almost non-existent. He has been invisible, just farming himself away. And yes, he's got a lead, but the problem is the rest of the map has just been pushed down by the Copenhagen Wolves with a tower-based game. Wisdom now core.
And Wisdom's going to be more invisible. Sunstar's killed off by Cadril. The rest of Giants are crumbling around the base. Wisdom forced to run away, tries to recall underneath the inhibitor turrets. Copenhagen Wolves play this one safe. Peppy's come back to life at 25 minutes. Instead, gonna back away, play for the Baron, maybe the Dragon, take the secure objectives before closing the game out.
Yeah, and you can see just how comfortable these fights are. I think, honestly, we've reached the point of the game where Copenhagen Wolves are in a comfortable enough lead that they should be able to win this game from here. This is Pinoy against Peppy.
Wow.
Pinoy just kind of deals a bunch of the damage.
3 critical hits in a row, I think.
Yeah, assist goes to Nukes as well. Difficult to deal with at that point. This is what a Sivir can do when she's ahead of that Infinity Edge at the time, so Critiche in effect.
Yeah, all day long.
Die after as well.
Koo's finding the cocoons this time round. Wisdom, I mean, does he run straight into it? Yeah, kind of. But it still counts. Still counts. As Koo is leading the charge for the Copenhagen Wolves. 46,000 gold to 41,000. Giants, 10 seconds until the next Dragon is up. And it might be time for the B word.
Oh no. So, well, we had one steal in this series and it kind of ended the game by just the team that stole it getting crushed. That was Wolves in the last game. It's always the question though, isn't it? It's like, do you miss the cocoon or a skill shot because you missed or because they dodged? I guess it depends on your outlook on life.
Oh, it
right?
does. Whether you're pessimist or optimist. That is also Koo securing the Dragon. Very optimistic about his chances because all of Giants were in vision.
I mean, that did give
big
Giants, it gave Giants a little bit of a window here if they'd have had the knowledge. This is Desperation Baron. They're trying to bait in the Wolves here into a bad fight. Wolves have TP available on Cadril.
Hustlin has already used Unbreakable Will. Wicked's firing out the Verdict. It's Smitty J that's been booted away. Wicked continues to dive into the fight, but he gets chunked. Forced to flash defensively. Giants are in full retreat as Cadril's teleport completes. He's looking for a target to entomb. Nobody dies. Another extended fight. And everyone flashing red.
They got the TP though. Now it's Wicked's turn to go bottom lane and soak that one up and then TP back up. So if this happens again and they can defend, then maybe Giants can look to make the same play a third time. Problem is they've got to hold their base as well. Not a lot of options available for Giants right now without winning one of these skirmishes. So for the Copenhagen Wolves, it's kind of just business as usual. Send somebody bottom lane, push it all the way up, buy time from the middle lane, allow that to push in, and then look to bait the Baron.
And for Giants, this is very important. We're 28 minutes in. The headroom and the growth that a Poppy, that a Trundle, a Kindred, and a Kalista are going to have is quite exceptional. So the longer this game goes, the happier they will be. Cadril's decided to engage, casts the ultimate down onto Wisdom. Wisdom's in trouble, might be able to get the Respite out. He does. Cadril engages and Respite gives Wisdom a heal, forces him away. Nobody from Wolves is close enough to try rush that Baron. It would be risky.
It was a lot of damage on the Cadril though. He thought his team could follow up a little faster than they actually could. Now Cadril, no TP, has to recall. Nothing is going to come of it. All it does is slow down the Wolves' push. And this has become one of the real symptomatic issues with a lot of the teams, even in the bottom half of the LCS table, is when you get to this point, how do you win the game? Well, you catch the support.
Wow, Hustlin just gets killed. I think it was just coming available Smitty J is now in a 1v2. He's looking to pick a fight. Subjugate has already been used. There's no flash. Smitty J almost takes Kadriel down. Kadriel forced to flash defensively. Wicked is looking, throws the buckler out. Gets a little bit of a heal, continues to chase. Smitty J puts the pillar of ice and says, "You shall not pass." Manages to run away. The rest of the Wolves, they're grouped up around Baron. They're waiting for a pick.
I believe Hustlin's ult just was available as he got cocooned. Like, a split second, maybe he didn't feel like it was up. Misread, or maybe he just didn't want to use it. Situation, knew he was dead. TP coming in from behind. Peppy, you have not got a paddle.
No, he does not. Cleanse and flash, and wow! Peppy gets over the wall, stays alive. The pillar of ice to prevent any further chase, but Summoners traded. That is a teleport down from both Smitty and Wicked now.
But now they're looking to just take control of this area, look to go top. They know bottom lane is pushing in as well for now. Somebody is going to have to deal with that in a minute or so when it actually hits up to the turret. They have the cannon minion in the bottom wave, so it's going to push in. Problem is, the Giants are looking more towards this top lane. They've got the package available.
Oh, this is going to be scary. The inhibitors respawned in the middle lane. Wicked takes a lot of damage. Flashes away there from Sanuxalot as he was at risk of getting caught. So this entire push has now been thwarted. And Copenhagen Wolves are starting to lose a little bit of ground. It feels like they're scrambling.
Well, the thing is, apart from Wicked, there isn't a massive amount of armor right now on the side of the Copenhagen Wolves, especially going up against Kalista and this Kindred. I mean, you look at Lissandra not having yet Sonya's Hourglass at 30 minutes is fairly rare. Building more towards Rabadon's death cap. Heavy wants to go in.
He does indeed. The Valkyrie comes out, no further chase, so there's no lockdown. Defensive play from the Copenhagen Wolves. It's a Baron dance. It's something that we're going to get accustomed to for the next few minutes.
Yeah, there is actually a world, though, where the Giants can hold on in this game. It's going to be a tough one, but if they can pick a fight with smaller numbers, the Wolves are actually committing to this now.
So Nuxalot's on the line. Monsoon is available to peel away from the Copenhagen Wolves. They've already used movement
Talisman.
speed.
Yeah,
Yep.
they used the Talisman. Sivrolt is still available, but you saw the damage that just the Giants took, the Copenhagen Wolves took from the Baron alone there. I mean, that's actually committing to that Baron right there when the Rift Scuttle of Vision was there. It's because there's a bottom lane wave pushing up. Now they're going to commit to it again. Smitty J is no teleport and he's about to show bottom.
Kindred and Kalista are very far away. They've had to run all the way from the top lane. Baron is down to 2/3 HP. Copenhagen Wolves didn't fully commit to the Baron play, despite how far ahead some of their damage dealers are. 310 CS for Pinoy.
Not only that, but despite seeing how far away the top laner was for the Giants, Smitty J was all the way on bottom side, no teleport available. Could not have got himself into a fight there. But the Wolves, again, are just taking too much from that Baron. They have to back away.
The very interesting thing, this gold lead that Copenhagen Wolves have is almost entirely inside Pinoy's pockets. He's got 14,600 gold to Sunstar's 10,800. So if Pinoy is ever removed from a fight or chunked out or, well, I don't really say assassinated because it's not really an assassinator, assassin on the side of Giants, then that entire gold lead is nullified. Assassinator.
Assassinator.
I mean, is that not what you call somebody who assassinates people?
I'm pretty sure you just call them an assassin, Trev.
Yeah, I know.
You legit just corrected yourself on that, and you're like, maybe I'll try it again.
I
If
play
first you don't
assassinators.
succeed, try again.
That can be the next
Burninator.
update. That can be the next update. So ADC and Marksman, you can call them Assassin and Assassinator. Juggernauta. And that's what Smitty J wants to be, a Juggernauta. He chunks down Wicked. The team fight breaks out. Hustlin has found Pinoy. He gets knocked away by the Howling Gale. Kadriel chases forward. Cannot follow through with the Claw of Doom. Self-casts on the Tomb. The first kill will be onto Smitty J. That's Giant's frontline falling apart as Hustlin is the next victim. Both kills to Pinoy.
And Peppy and Sunstar were just running backwards away from Kadriel that entire fight. And honestly, Smitty J had 4 people around him for a very long time there. Enough time that the backline should have been able to deal with the rest of the Wolves, or at least Kadriel as he was going in. But Giants end up giving that fight away to the Wolves. Now Wolves want to take out the Baron.
And there was no QSS on either Peppy, Sunstar, or Maybe even Wisdom. A teleport comes in from Wicked. He loses
Stopped
his home
instant.
guard by the minions. Baron gets stopped, actually. Copenhagen Wolves opt against it. Wisdom's in a little bit of trouble. Defensive Valkyrie from Pepe.
They know that a kill or two here pretty much results. Good flash from Wisdom.
He's going to avoid any potential stuns, but no Baron secured. Copenhagen Wolves were looking for the kills in the game.
They roll the dice, yeah. If they get the kills, they end the game. The fact of the matter is, though, if you take the Baron and you're able to take it down, then you're going to be able to push for the win anyway. But the Wolves playing this very partly cautious, but at the same time greedy. It's this weird kind of cautiously greedy play where you're looking for kills to end the game, but you don't want to all in the Baron because it turns into a 50-50. Very weird circumstance.
Risk was there. Smitty J's got teleport available. There's no wards just yet.
But now it's actually like 50-50 because if Wisdom
Going
can
too
get
quick.
there, yeah, it's going to die. Wait, Wisdom.
Wisdom's coming in. They've arrived too late. Teleport was cancelled by Smitty J.
Wisdom actually could have stolen that. It was Sivir that got the Baron there. Wisdom was right by the wall. If he'd have hopped over and smite it, it's a 50-50 completely. But he had no flash, didn't want the one-way trip. Wisdom didn't want to dive for that Baron. I guess they feel with a Kalista, with a Kindred, they feel like they can hold this game. They've just got the 4th dragon. If they can pause this now for another 6 minutes.
Against Baron is going to be tough.
Yeah, against Baron is going to be tough.
Ooh.
With this much wave clear, when you look at the likes, it's kind of short range though. Kalista, Kindred, short range, Trundle, melee, and the magic damage from Corki is going to get blocked. It is a tough ask.
It's going to be difficult.
It's inhib at least for Copenhagen Wolves here. Now whether it's inhib and back away is a different story. Top lane is pushing in. They should be able to collect that wave and look to get another inhib tower, but the package is available. Huston's got in.
He's decided to go forward. Fate's Call's already been challenged. Smitty J's forcing Pinoy away. Wisdom staying alive thanks to Lamb's respite. Chunking down Cadril. Wicked decides to re-engage. There's been no victims of the inhibitor fight yet. Smitty J flashed away and continues to chase. Now Smitty's in trouble. Koo's looking to sink the fans in with that venomous bite. And if it wasn't for that Hex Drinker and Sterax, Wisdom may have gone down. Some interesting itemization. Death's Dance picked up for Pinoy. Death Cap for Cadril. Something we consider standard, and still no QSSs from Pepe and Sunstar.
Man, that was an incredibly tense fight for the Giants there. So many people dropped below 200 health and somehow managed to stay alive. Of course, with Defender's advantage then on this team fight, the ability to back away and come back on full health, it means the Wolves can't stick around. Huston pops his ult, gets dragged right back out by Sunstar, so doesn't really get the full effect of that. He's now forced to just kind of run around the fight healing, but oh, we're in the bottom lane fight.
Smitty J is going to get taken down. Cocoon into the root. Smitty's continuing to run. Subjugate's already been used. It takes 4 members, but eventually does happen. 5, in fact, as the Copenhagen Wolves now siege down this bottom lane with the minion wave.
Smitty J thought he was safe. Looking at it, you can see the wards. We're going to have to kind of CSI the crime scene here. With you look at the fact that On the Hunt was popped, it looked like Smitty J just didn't respect the movement speed that is coming from this team composition from the Copenhagen Wolves, and that is now the numbers advantage. Nobody can really accept top wave when it pushes in. Wolves now have 2 waves pushing. Mid lane is not there yet.
Not yet. 30 seconds until Smitty J is alive. Teleport will be a little while longer after that. And Giants, they're still looking to defend. Banner of Command, Cannon Minion is taking down the Nexus turrets.
The key thing is, though, that Banner Minion can be taken down by the Kindred, by the Kalista fairly quickly. And also the Baron is expiring just as Smitty J is coming up. There wasn't really an overlap that could be utilized by the Wolves here, so they have to really respect the fact that Smitty J was going to be alive if they wanted to continue that push in. It's a bit of a saving grace for the Giants here, and honestly, we're now back to it. The Dragon, when that comes up, is going to be the big all-changing factor here. We are going to have a fight when it comes up.
And double teleports into an exposed base.
Yeah.
If Giants overcommit, overextend, overreach, the game is over. They can't afford to do that. Copenhagen Wolves playing it by the numbers. They've grouped up their forces. Both teleport users are okay to be slow or late to the party because they can just jump in at a moment's notice.
On the other side, though, one botched team fight from the Copenhagen Wolves, and if it's anywhere but the base of Giants, they should be able to answer with a push. Death timers are fairly long right now. They have a Trundle, they have Kalista, they have Kindred, they have all of these tools that can push. So Wolves just have to play this out fairly carefully. Baron really would end the game for them if they can get that. Another one now with the inhibs exposed. When it comes up, it's a few minutes out. Inhibs should come up first.
Well, let's see what the Copenhagen Wolves can do. 100% kill participation for both Pinoy and Sir Noobsalot. That Janna-Sivir combo, really integral, the core of the Wolves' leading gameplay this match.
And a lot of that has just come from the fact that the Wolves have been grouped together and have generally looked for tower pushes with a couple of kills sprinkled around the side. From that, it's kind of fair to say that Pinoy has picked up a lot of kills here, having a good performance on the Sivir. A lot of it has just been these two ultimate, or the ultimate and the coin being used effectively. Wicked preemptively TPs in, swinging the hammer at lightning speed.
And the Verdict sends hustling away. So a third inhibitor turret has now fallen. Smitty J's peeled away from the bottom lane. The fight has broken up. Hustling's looking to knock people up. Pep is low on mana because he's been spamming for days. Copenhagen Wolves pick exactly the right time to engage. The inhibitor will fall shortly. A Nexus turret's already gone down to the Winnie's Lamb's Respite. Will keep Giants alive for just a few seconds. It simply will not matter though, as the Copenhagen Wolves take down every structure in Giants base and even up the series at 1-1.
That was a pretty close fight for the Wolves, flashing up fairly low, but it was Pinoy being so healthy at the end that he's just able to shred through everybody. Nobody could touch him. 10-0-3, 400 CS at the end of that game, and Pinoy, with the Sivir, plays a tower pushing game, gets all the kills pretty much. 100% kill participation remains at the end, and Copenhagen Wolves to answer with another win, well, with a win
With a win,
themselves.
yeah. And interesting as well, because it was a lane swap that initiated that game. It looked like Giants had a small advantage in the opening minutes, but as the 5 to 20 minutes transpired, it was Copenhagen Wolves with a tower dive, with aggressive plays, that got control.
Yeah, and honestly, the difference between this game and the last game is Wisdom wasn't really offering anything to the Giants. He wasn't doing anything particularly badly or anything like that. He was just playing farming Kindred. It was just like, well, I'm just going to sit in my
Slightly
jungle.
invisible.
I think everybody's played with one of those in solo queue at some point, where it's just like, I'm going to stay in the jungle for 30 minutes. Well, nevertheless, it's a win for the Wolves.
It absolutely is, and we have a series on our hands. We're going to head to the analyst desk to talk about how Copenhagen Wolves picked up that win.
Definitely so. Thank you very much, gentlemen. 1-1 all squared. In game one, we had a lot to say about the Copenhagen Wolves pick and ban phase. This time, Kadril at least got his hands on something that he's able to work with. What else did you guys see popping off in that pick and ban?
I'm such a big fan of this team composition on this patch, like Sivir, Lissandro together, and then paired with like a tank that has like movement-reliant abilities. I like that concept like a lot, and it gives, like Crepo just mentioned off desk, you put Sivir in the mid lane, you just shove it in, and then you have like two flanking side lanes that just collapse on the mid lane once you open up the map in the lane swap. That should have happened. Even though Copenhagen Wolves like mess up the lane swap a bit, right? That still didn't really matter because you just, the team
now you say a bit. However, when we were watching it, you guys were like,
yeah, we thought they threw the game by screwing up the lane. So before we get into that, I just really want to talk about this comp, because the goal or the mid game point where you arrive is Sivir in the mid lane 1-3-1, and then you have double TP, potential flanks. It's such a good point to be in. You can arrive at that state by doing two things. Either you go standard lanes and you have Janna-Sivir continuously pressure the bot lane tower. You have utility mid that can always push, and then the play pattern is you push mid, roam bot for a 5-man bot lane party, double TP, where you kind of force them off the tower, get the tower, then you swap up and you isolate every tower. Otherwise, you can also opt for a very good lane swap, and that's what we want to highlight in the first replay, how good this lane swap is from Copenhagen Wolves, because despite having really solid 2v2, 1v1 gameplay patterns, if you look at their champion combo here, Janna, Poppy, and Sivir can kill every single minion wave while still kind of hitting the tower if they position correctly. That gets you a tempo advantage. So at this point in the replay, if we roll right now, Copenhagen Wolves have a really big tempo advantage if they bounce on this wave. Like, they actually have too many creeps, so they're taking the tower down too quickly. What they could have done is bounce the wave here for Wicked. So that's what you want to do. Here you see, Nado, Q, W, like these waves evaporate. But the goal in the lane swap is to bounce for your top laner, swap, and use a tempo advantage to be the first team to initiate the swap play. Then you get the next tower. Then you swap back, you take Herald. Then you swap back and you go for a 4-man push on tier 2. And because you're always ahead in tempo, the other team has nothing to do than to mirror you because they don't have the wave clear to stop you. If Copenhagen Wolves executed this perfectly, this would have been such a beautiful tier 2 push, like 4 minutes down the line. We can't fault them for it because they're a challenger team, but I'm just such a big fanboy of this comp because I think it's absolutely genius.
For the noobs here, obviously we saw them pushing that tower. You say it was too fast. What?
Yeah, the correct play there is bounce that wave on first tower, send your bot lane to the bot lane again, because then you can get Wicked off the farm, and you keep your top laner just soaking waves every time. Either you get the enemy Trundle, because now Wicked could be farming, and we saw it in the early game. Wicked was down 30 CS or something in this lane swap, because he was the one always behind and having to catch the waves, while the other top laner was freezing and then got pushed off the wave.
And it was dangerous for him to farm that far.
Yeah, he couldn't farm safely, and he was always the one swapping second, instead of initiating the play and just keeping the freezes, so it would have been such a good play. And despite all that, this is a long rant, but even with all those failures in the early game, once the mid game hit, Copenhagen Wolves just started taking tower after tower after tower for free with this super strong composition.
Looking from the outside, I'd say good on the coach for the pick and ban phase, good on the coach for the idea of the lane swap. It just faltered a little bit because they didn't have that decision making behind them when the lane swap actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think he explained it like all points.
Yeah.
I can only agree with it. I think if Trundle would have just, like in a normal scenario, that game would have been over probably, because if you just manage to just choke out the jungle and then take the resources away, and then if you set that 1-3-1 once up, it's like there's no coming back really, and you have stronger team fight, because Sivir right now, like I really like the champion right now, Sivir, because she has wave clear in the mid lane, she can just do whatever she wants, she has really good team fighting, her damage output is actually insane, and I really like Sivir comps right now, and yeah.
Pinoy was super fed also.
Yeah, the beauty of that Sivir is that as opposed to back in the day when we had Sivir rush at you teamfight comps, now we just have Sivir in the mid lane. She can rotate quicker to side lanes if you want to rotate to a tower or just surprise the enemy with On the Hunt to make picks. But the cool thing about this comp is that you kind of guarantee 2 or 3 pushing lanes. I think it's even slightly better if you have a Trundle instead of Poppy. Poppy gives you a little more flank engage, but Trundle just wins you the late game push on one extra lane too. But it's just so versatile. You can play standard lanes, have a good winning play pattern with almost no counter, or you swap and you have a winning play pattern with almost no counter because you just had in tempo. It's just so fun to see for me.
I heard that before. Just a Sivir comp, no counters. Yeah, we're going back full circle to like 1 year ago.
The Sivir comp memes are back.
A link to the past.
A link to the past. Yeah.
In any case, to round up the 2 games we saw so far, and especially this one from Copenhagen Wolves, bad start but good strategy initially. This puts us back at square one because it was Giants with the good decision making in game 1. However, I'm inclined to say, we see the Copenhagen Wolves there discussing that when it comes to in-game decision-making, I am more impressed with what Giants did in Game 1 than what was facilitated by the comp by Copenhagen Wolves in Game 2.
Yeah, it was a little bit all over the place. What Giants didn't continue here is in picks and bans. Giants this game, they banned out Nidalee, Lulu, and Twisted Fate, whereas in Game 1, hang on, it was the Lissandra there, yeah. So they banned out the Lissandra too. So Game 1, they banned out all these utility champs from Kadril, and the Azir was off the table too, so his champion pool was ruined and he couldn't play that Quinn to Corki. Right now, he got this Lissandra, and that is the style Kadril likes to play. TP, utility, help his team, provide CC. So if now we swap sides again, if Giants can just repeat that, then I think Copenhagen Wolves may have issues again.
Dexter.
Yeah, I think on blue side, they actually have like a lot more room for the target bans. So I think we just see Lulu, Lissandra, and TF banned again. And then you take away like the biggest strength for the enable, like the mid lane enable is like gone, and then what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna run a Sivir comp without one of those hard engage, hard CC mid laners and run the Quinn again? Because I don't think that's gonna work out.
We'll see, because Giants will be on the blue side for this next game, and as the teams regroup for Game 3, we're going to take a quick break. The series is tied at 1-1, so stay tuned.